Mitch McConnell, the long-serving Senate Minority Leader, made headlines with a stunning and unprecedented televised rebuke of President-elect Donald Trump. The moment was nothing short of a political earthquake, sending shockwaves through Washington, the Republican Party, and the nation at large. McConnell, known for his disciplined and calculated political maneuvers, delivered a message that not only undercut Trump's authority, but also hinted at deeper divisions within the GOP. This clash of titans was not just a moment of personal conflict, it represented the unraveling of long-simmering tensions and ideological battles within the Republican Party. Before we start, hit the like and subscribe buttons for more exclusive news. The televised address began with McConnell's usual calm and measured demeanor. However, as he progressed, his tone took on an uncharacteristically sharp edge. He addressed the concerns surrounding Trump's election, focusing on issues that had already stirred controversy during the campaign. McConnell did not mince words when challenging Trump's leadership style, policy proposals, and temperament, effectively questioning his ability to unite the country and lead effectively. It was an extraordinary moment, one where the seasoned lawmaker seemed to set aside the political decorum of his office in favor of a direct confrontation with the president-elect. This public denunciation did not come out of nowhere. McConnell, often perceived as a master of backroom deals and quiet negotiations, has long represented the old guard of the Republican Party. His approach to governance and party strategy is rooted in pragmatism, discipline, and incremental change. Trump, on the other hand, emerged as a populist disruptor, riding a wave of anti-establishment sentiment that rejected the very principles McConnell has championed throughout his career. The contrast between the two could not be more stark, and this moment on live television brought their differences into sharp focus. McConnell's decision to air his grievances in such a public and dramatic fashion was a calculated risk. Historically, party leaders have avoided openly criticizing their president-elect, preferring instead to resolve disputes behind closed doors. However, McConnell appeared to be making a statement not just to Trump but to the broader Republican base and the American public. His message was clear. The party of Lincoln and Reagan could not afford to be subsumed by Trump's brand of politics. He outlined what he believed to be the core principles of the Republican Party, drawing a line in the sand and daring Trump to cross it. The implications of McConnell's remarks were staggering. By openly opposing Trump, he risked alienating a significant portion of the Republican electorate, particularly those who had rallied behind Trump's insurgent campaign. These voters had rejected the establishment politics that McConnell embodied, viewing him as a symbol of the Washington elite. Yet McConnell's critique also resonated with another segment of the GOP, those who were uneasy about Trump's rhetoric and his disregard for traditional political norms. This division highlighted the precarious balancing act that the Republican Party now faced: how to reconcile the competing factions within its ranks. McConnell's speech also had broader implications for governance. With the Republicans retaining control of the Senate, McConnell was poised to be a key player in shaping the legislative agenda under Trump's presidency. His public criticism signaled that he would not be a rubber stamp for the new administration. Instead, McConnell positioned himself as a counterweight to Trump, someone who would prioritize the institution of the Senate and the broader interests of the country over partisan loyalty. This stance introduced an element of unpredictability to what might otherwise have been a straightforward alignment of party interests. The timing of McConnell's address was also significant. Delivered just weeks after Trump's electoral victory, it came at a moment when the president-elect was attempting to consolidate power and build momentum for his incoming administration. McConnell's critique disrupted this process, sowing doubts about Trump's mandate and his ability to govern effectively. The Senate Minority Leader's words were likely to embolden Trump's critics and provide ammunition to the opposition, both within and outside the Republican Party. Trump's reaction to McConnell's remarks was immediate and combative, though not part of the speech itself. The fallout was evident in the days following the broadcast. Trump took to social media to defend himself, attacking McConnell in characteristically blunt terms. This public sparring between the two leaders further underscored the deep rift within the GOP and set the stage for what promised to be a contentious relationship moving forward. The impact of McConnell's address extended beyond the Republican Party. For Democrats and other critics of Trump, McConnell's words served as a validation of their concerns. If someone as entrenched and measured as McConnell was willing to speak out, it suggested that Trump's presidency posed challenges that transcended partisan politics. At the same time, McConnell's critique highlighted the dysfunction within the GOP, giving Democrats an opportunity to exploit the divisions and position themselves as a more unified alternative. Political analysts were quick to weigh in on the implications of McConnell's address. Some viewed it as a bold and necessary act of leadership, a stand against the excesses and unpredictability of Trumpism. Others saw it as a risky gamble that could backfire, further alienating the Republican base and weakening the party's ability to govern. Regardless of one's perspective, it was clear that McConnell's remarks marked a turning point in American politics, one that would shape the trajectory of the Trump presidency and the future of the Republican Party. McConnell's rebuke also raised questions about the role of party leaders in the age of Trump. Should they prioritize loyalty to the president or adherence to the principles and norms that have traditionally guided their party? McConnell's speech suggested that he believed the latter to be more important, even if it meant alienating key constituencies and risking his own political capital. This stance was both courageous and fraught with danger, as it placed him in direct opposition to a president-elect who had already demonstrated a willingness to go to war with his critics, even within his own party. The broader cultural implications of McConnell's address were equally significant. It highlighted the growing polarization and fragmentation of American politics, where even members of the same party could not find common ground. McConnell's critique of Trump was not just about policy differences, it was about a fundamental clash of values and visions for the country. This divide mirrored the broader societal tensions that had been laid bare during the election as Americans grappled with issues of identity, governance, and the role of government in their lives. As the dust settled from McConnell's televised address, it was clear that the moment would be remembered as a defining event in American political history. It was a rare instance of a party leader publicly challenging a president-elect from his own party, and it set the stage for a volatile and unpredictable chapter in the nation's governance. For McConnell, the speech was a high-stakes gamble, one that could either cement his legacy as a principled leader or tarnish his reputation as a divisive figure within his own ranks. In the immediate aftermath of McConnell's address, the political landscape appeared more fractured than ever. The Republican Party faced an uncertain future, torn between competing factions and conflicting visions for its path forward. McConnell's critique of Trump was both a reflection of and a catalyst for this turmoil, as it forced the party to confront the difficult questions that had been simmering beneath the surface for years. Would the GOP continue to embrace Trump's populist outsider approach, or would it return to the more traditional establishment-oriented principles championed by leaders like McConnell? The stakes were high, not just for the Republican Party, but for the country as a whole. McConnell's speech underscored the challenges of governing in a deeply divided nation, where consensus and compromise seemed increasingly out of reach. It also highlighted the personal and ideological battles that would shape the Trump presidency, as the president-elect faced resistance not just from Democrats, but from within his own party. The clash between McConnell and Trump was not just a political feud, it was a battle for the soul of the Republican Party and the future of American democracy. As McConnell stepped away from the podium that day, the nation was left to grapple with the implications of his words. It was a moment that would be dissected and debated for years to come, a turning point in a turbulent era of American politics. For McConnell, the speech was a bold and defining act, one that cemented his place in history as a leader willing to stand up for his principles, even in the face of tremendous political pressure. For Trump, it was a reminder that his path to the presidency would not be without its challenges, as he faced opposition not just from his political rivals, but from within his own ranks. Together, they had set the stage for a dramatic and contentious chapter in American governance, one that would test the resilience of the nation's institutions and the strength of its democratic values. If you like this video, please give it a like and subscribe to our channel. Also, could you leave your comments below and tell us, what are your thoughts on Mitch McConnell's actions against Donald Trump on live TV? We want to hear from you. Thank you for watching and see you next time.